Broadcasting from their world headquarters in Texas, it's the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. The show that discusses arcade repair, restoration, news, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Tim and Jonathan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 105. Is that what we are on? Goodness. 105 of the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show for November 2025. My name is Jonathan Leung. I'm the producer, director, and editor here at the Arcade Repair Series. And joining me today, as always, Arcade Repair Tips Series. And joining me today, as always, is Mr. Arcade Repair Tips himself, Tim Peterson. Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay. Looking forward to a Friday night edition.
Yeah, so we should talk about that real quick. I'm sorry that we had to move it from Thursday. Usually we do this on the first Thursday night of the month, but unfortunately I had a funeral to go to, Tim, and so I do appreciate everybody moving just one day up and going a little later. Tim said he couldn't get here till about 6, and so we didn't want to do 5:30. Obviously, we couldn't do that, so we moved it to 6:30, a little bit later as well. But you may not be watching this live. Hopefully, you're watching it after the fact, and we'll still get some great arcade repair information as we go through the night. But before we get started, I'm going to check in with Tim. Tim, how's it going?
It's going. Just time flies. We got Christmas coming in, what, about 6 weeks now?
I know.
It doesn't seem like it, but once Halloween's over, it just seems like everything
it's a run to the
up.
End. Yeah,
I noticed traffic was a lot more today. I was like, oh, here we go. It's that time of year.
For sure. Hopefully you guys had a good Halloween. Tim, you have a good Halloween?
It was a good Halloween. We were talking earlier, we didn't have as many trick-or-treaters this year, but there were a couple of big ball games in town. It was on a Friday night.
It was.
So a lot of people were at the football game. I talked to my friends at Sonic. They were doing 50-cent corn dogs.
Oh, wow.
And they bought a lot, and they said until the ball games were over, they was dead.
Oh, my goodness.
And then they got plastered late at night. But it was a good time. We handed out candy. My daughter and granddaughter and son-in-law went around our neighborhood and got enough candy for all of us. She looked cute enough to get us all, she ain't big enough to really know what's going on, but she got us some candy, and we were appreciative of that. And we enjoyed spending some time with them. I know you always do a big deal here at your house, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
We had about 20 people over, so we had some families, and we all just went trick-or-treating. I usually go with them for about an hour. So they'll leave at like 5:30, 6-ish, and then I'll go out there until, 6:37, depending on how early we leave. And then I will come back to the house so I can give out candy. And Tim, we gave out about 700 full-size candy bars, something like that, and ended about 850, which is actually later than last year. Last year, I think we ran out of candy at 8:30. Wow. So we did not have as many trick-or-treaters, I don't think, like overall, but we still gave out all the candy. And like you said, I think the football games, we're in Texas, guys. Football is a thing. Right. And so the football games, we had a lot of friends that were actually at football games instead of going trick-or-treating. And so I do think that cut down a little bit on some of the traffic.
Yeah, a lot of churches and stuff did stuff the night before on Saturday. So it kind of balanced out, and which was okay. We had enough to hand out candy. What I noticed a lot of middle school and probably early high school students. Yeah. More than probably previous years. Yeah. But we always say, they're going to dress up and have fun. They could be doing a lot of other stuff. Let them have some candy, right?
Absolutely.
So there wasn't as many smaller kids this year, but might have just been our neighborhood and a lot of the neighborhood kids.
We get a good mix. I have a lot. Now, one of the things we did have, Tim, for and this would have been really good for your granddaughter, is we had Bluey figures.
Oh, yeah.
And so your granddaughter's still probably a little too young for it. But, we figure that's a little bit better than candy because it is something the kids probably recognize. But
she likes chocolate.
There you go. Well, hopefully you had a wonderful Halloween as well. Tim, we should probably actually get into some arcade repair talk.
Let's go.
Now, we do want to remind everybody that if you want to interact with us during the show, you can leave your comments and questions over in the live chat. Tim, we have Joysticks Arcade here, and it says, well, it's not Thursday. No, it is not Thursday. And like I said, I do apologize for that, guys, but the funeral I had was at 3 o'clock yesterday, and I just couldn't see myself getting home to do the live show. It looks like we may be having some connection issues tonight, guys. So if you are having connection issues and the stream does not come out, we'll probably end up reposting this in its entirety because we do also record it as well now. So if you have any issues during the stream, just keep that in mind. You may watch for a post of the full video later on. But so far, I think it's holding up, Tim. We may have some glitches here and there, a little bit of buffering or something, but hopefully the buffering is enough to take care of the drops we may be having. So Well, Tim, are you ready to get into some questions?
Let's go.
Okay, well, the first question that we have here, Tim, is from krisdogg. I like krisdogg, obviously. So let's see what krisdogg had to say, Tim. krisdogg writes, "Hi, I have an X-Men arcade I'm restoring, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect all 4 coin slots. I have the coin slots for the players 1 and 2 connected to the JAMA, but I'm lost as to where to find the wires for players 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. Can you help?" So, Tim, this is actually where our title for tonight's episode comes from, Coins on All 4.
Okay.
Okay, so coins on all 4, Tim, but unfortunately right now we only have coins on 2.
Right.
So what can we do in order to get coins working for all 4 players on our X-Men arcade game?
Well, although the standard JAMA harness will allow you to play and it will work, you need the kick harness for extra buttons and for those extra coin slots. So you need a harness in addition to the harness that you probably have that when you wired at JAMA. So that's what basically you need more wiring than what you have in the standard JAMA pinout.
Sure.
That's basically that's basically it.
So what we have on JAMA, Tim, most of the time, I think JAMA is really only made for 2 players, correct?
Coin 1 and coin 2. He's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, when you're doing that, of course, you wouldn't have the coin 3 and 4 because you don't have the pins for the controls for players 3 and 4, and this is where those kick harnesses come in. So,
now, I'm not sure about the software in the game because we haven't had one in a long time. You could jumper the wires for each one so that it didn't matter which slot you had. And maybe the fact that you give 4 credits,
yes,
it would let you play 4 players. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a quick fix would just be to jumper each wire a ground, and you can make slot the first 2 on the left, slots 1, and maybe the first 2 on the right, slot 2. But to do it correctly, you really should get the kick harness and do it that way.
And Tim, I'm glad you mentioned that because I do think that there may be a dip switch setting
that you can change.
You can change that'll either let you put it in one slot and select a player,
right,
or put it in a slot and you already have the player that you put the slot in. Right, exactly. Kind of like with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you have a Donatello side, a Raphael side, kind of thing. And so I do think that X-Men may have an option to do either of those.
I think so, and that's really pulling from a long memory, from a long time ago.
For sure. Well, let's go ahead and put this up here, Tim, so we can talk about it. According to the pinouts for the game, which can be found on the Mike's Arcade website, and Tim, we actually have it down in the show notes, so if you want to see that, krisdogg, you can. X-Men uses a 15-pin kick harness to wire up the player 3 and player 4 coin slots and controls. Please note that you will need 2 of these harnesses if you want to wire up both players. So these harnesses, Tim, there's one for third player, one for 4th player. So you need to buy 2 of them when you buy them, okay? One is not enough. Our friend Joe at High Score Saves offers these harnesses on his website, and Tim, we have the link here, and we also have it down below in the show notes if you need to see that. You may also be able to get these kick harnesses from other parts suppliers as well, and as always, Tim, hope that helps. So, Tim, that's really what it comes down to, is just ordering the kick harnesses and then making sure you wire it up according to the pinouts there on the Mike's Arcade website. As long as you do that, you should be able to get the players 3 and 4 harnesses up and running. Tim, any additional thoughts for krisdogg before we move on?
No, good luck, krisdogg. Let us know if you need more help. And I really do think, though, you can just link what you have and change the dip switch setting or a setting in the game to do that if that helps.
Right, now you still need the harnesses for the controls.
But you need it for the controls.
So regardless,
you might as well go ahead and get the harness.
For sure. If you're going to wire up those additional players, you're going to need them. So hopefully that helps there, krisdogg. And let us know how it goes wiring up that 4-player X-Men arcade cabinet. Well, Tim, the live chat's pretty dead tonight. Again, Friday night.
Yeah, that's
Everybody's at football games, and it's getting close to the end of the football season here, Tim, for high school football.
A lot of big games with playoff possibilities or contentions. I know my high school is playing a really big game. I went to West Monroe High School. They're playing Ruston, which both are ranked in the top 10 in the state. So it should be a good game.
Mm-hmm. You're having a lot of those kind of divisional games right now, Tim, which are very important if you're going to get into the playoffs for high school football. But, Tim, we are not experts in high school football by any means, but we do enjoy a game every so often, for sure. And in Texas, Tim, football is king.
It is.
So it is what it is. But hopefully you guys are having a wonderful night. And if you're watching this after the fact, we're glad you're watching after the fact, too. But for those of you guys who are here, please chime in on the live chat. Let us know you're here. We'd love to hear from you. So. Well, Tim, let's go ahead and go to our next question from Cold Springs Golf Pro.
Okay.
Cold Springs Golf Pro, and they write, How do you wire an LCD monitor into the harness or to a power supply? I have to use a remote to turn it on and off. Thanks. So, Tim, I think he's talking about the power, or
Right.
whoever is talking here is talking about the power of the LCD monitor, not necessarily the hookup. It sounds like they've got it working, but they're having to turn it on and off basically every time they want
Which
to do
is
it.
why we always recommend buying an arcade kind that
Right.
automatically comes on. You might can go into the settings and change that, but more than likely you'll have to turn it on with a remote, just like you have to turn one on at the house.
Absolutely.
Because it's a basic TV.
But let's say that we do want to wire up the AC voltage of our LCD monitor in our arcade cabinet, Tim. If we want to do that, how can we accomplish that?
Well, you should have some kind of power transformer or power supply, and you're just going to go straight from there and wire it into your wires like you would plug it into the wall. You'll take that cord, cut the end off, strip the wires, and they should color coordinate to some extent. You'll have a ground, a neutral, and a hot, and you're going to wire those together, and then at least the power will have power, so when you do turn it on with your remote, it will come on.
Right. So you could some good places to connect this may be the AC voltage terminals on the switching power supply, perhaps,
Right.
or you could also do it on like the after the AC line. But you probably want to make sure that it's at least after the power switch, so that way you can turn it on and off with the power switch. Right?
Agreed.
So that's going to be an important part of wiring this up for sure. Tim, any other thoughts here before I show the slide?
No, go ahead.
Okay, let's go ahead and show this slide here, guys, to Cold Springs Golf Pro. As far as wiring the monitor and the power supply goes, it's pretty straightforward. You can cut off the plug end of the monitor and connect the black, the hot wire, the white, the neutral wire, and the green, the ground wire, to your AC distribution block, if you have one of those. And Tim, we have some pictures here that we're showing for those of you guys who may be listening on the audio. It kind of shows what those look like and where you can wire those things in. If you don't have an AC distribution block, you can wire them to the AC input terminals or connectors on the power supply, if that's what you got. The remote issue, though, is a little trickier, right, Tim?
Yes.
And so some monitors come on automatically when they receive power. And if that's the case with yours, then wiring up to the power supply after the power switch should solve your issue. But like Tim mentioned, if it's not that, you're still going to have to turn on the monitor whenever the monitor gets power from the game. And that may mean keeping around a remote control. That may mean wiring a switch, kind of wiring to bypass a switch so that it automatically comes on, something to that effect. But really, if you want to put a monitor, an LCD monitor in your arcade game, like Tim mentioned, commercial grade, arcade quality LCD that's made to be in there. Our good friends, Tim, at Holland Computers make some really nice ones that you can get. And as well as Twisted Quarter and several other suppliers, Tim, that we recommend have these monitors in stock. And Tim, if it's a 19-inch, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. They're pretty reasonable now, right? I mean, like you're looking $200 or less for like the Holland Computers one, the retroarcade.us version, if that's what you need. If you need one that has the video conversion on the board, you may be looking closer to $300. Not bad. 25s are a little bit more expensive, Tim, obviously, like the Unico 5-600, maybe a little bit closer to that, or the even the Wells Garner ones, Tim, like the one I have in the Street Fighter over here. This one, that's a Wells Garner LCD in there, and it's a little bit more expensive. But Tim, there's a reason why we go with arcade grade commercial quality LCDs, right?
It does make it a lot simpler, but it kind of depends. I mean, honestly, if you're just playing your game occasionally, and yes, you can just go there and hit a remote and turn it on. I mean, that'll be fine, but it is kind of a pain. It's nice when it, just like every arcade game, they just come on when you power them on.
Absolutely.
You normally don't have to hit a remote control to turn your arcade game on.
For sure. So, Cold Springs Golf Pro hopefully answers your question, and good luck wiring that LCD monitor into your arcade cabinet. Tim, they did not tell us which arcade game they're putting this in, so we don't know, but I'd like to think Golden Tee, just based on the name.
Yeah, maybe so.
There you
that was my thoughts.
So, again, hopefully that answers your question, and good luck getting that LCD monitor wired. Tim, we have a comment over from Joe Holt in the live chat. He says, they love it when you plug and unplug monitors in at the store to see which ones automatically come on. Yeah, you can do that. Or you could just buy from one of our arcade parts suppliers that definitely give you monitors that just come on when they're powered up.
Right.
So,
that's a good thing to test before you buy, right?
For sure. And like you said, you can do some research. There are some models, some LGs, some Sharps and things that you can go into like kind of like a hidden menu and turn on those kind of settings. So if you're interested in that, there's some websites you can do some research on and find that stuff out. So Well, Tim, that's the live chat. I think we're caught up there. So let us continue on with our next question, Tim. And this one's from Will. Will writes, I have a Donkey Kong cabinet in the arcade I repair and maintain. So, Tim, I think he's talking about like an arcade place, right?
Okay.
I have a question on how to fix a reoccurring bending/jumping issue on the left side of the screen. See the pic. I assume that one of the chips is seated off slightly or that the vertical horizontal hold is off slightly. We got it to go away for about 30 minutes after I pressed on the main sprite and game chip slightly. It then came back after 30 minutes to an hour. Do you have any advice? Now, Tim, we do have a picture of what the bend looks like. And he did send a video, Tim, and it kind of good and bad. Good, and then it'll show this little bend on the left-hand side that we're seeing here on the outline.
Up and everything. But more than likely, in my opinion, he probably has a board issue.
Sure. And
those chips and stuff may need just some reflow the solder on the back of them. If that worked, that would be a very good place to start.
Sure.
There's also like a trim pot and stuff that he could replace. But I would definitely, this would be one I would pull that back of that board up and I would start refreshing the solder on everything.
Yeah, especially if you've got an issue where you know that if you press down on a socketed chip, it kind of solves it. I think that's kind of a dead giveaway here, Tim. And we all know
I'm glad he told us that little piece of information really helped.
Right, and we all know that those sockets tend to fail quite a bit, so it may be worth replacing sockets as well and then putting the chips back in new sockets while you're refreshing. You can refresh the solder first, see how it works for you. But it may be actually worth your time just to replace the sockets completely, depending. So, but we also have some trim pots, Tim, like you mentioned, that I put on the outline here. So I'm gonna go ahead and show that to everybody so they can see it. From your description and troubleshooting, it sounds like a board issue, right, Tim? So you can also try adjusting the VR1 and VR2 potentiometers on the game board to see if it helps the issue. If the adjustments don't help, try touching the solder up on the pots and as the solder tends to get cold, cracked, or broken over time. You can also try replacing them all together, the 50K trim pots there on the board, Tim. And then like Tim mentioned, touching up the solder on the main sprite and game chips may help as well. But Tim, these VR trim pots, VR1 and VR2 on the main board, it actually says, if you look here, it's hard to, this is a copy of the manual here, but you'll see it says like move image downward, move image leftward.
Yeah.
And so these are actually pots on the game board, Tim, that help with monitor adjustments. And what happens sometimes is if those trim pots on the board, monitor adjustment video display kind of board, go bad, that they will cause some freaky things to happen like this. Or maybe they just need to be adjusted a little bit. But you may try that. That's VR1 and VR2 on the main game board. And Tim, like I said, it's in the manual. We have a screenshot of the manual here so you can see what that looks like. And like I said, the description for these actually shows like turn VR1 right to move the image downward, turn VR2 right to move the image leftward. So this is a really good, like I said, these are monitor adjustment pots that are on the main game board. And Tim, Donkey Kong is one of those games that has a lot of adjustments on either the game board or some of the breakout boards that power the game, correct?
Correct.
So definitely want you to check out those. And if those pots don't help, like Tim mentioned, definitely want to try to touch up the solder, Tim. I mean, we all know that these games are 40 plus years old in a lot of cases. And so you want to make sure that you've got good solder flowing all through that game board as well. Tim, anything else here for Will before we move on?
No.
Okay. We got a question over here in the live chat, Tim.
Okay.
I see you peeking.
I see that.
So let's go ahead and go to Joe Flores here, Tim, real quick. He says, I have a 1981 Tato Space Invaders Cabaret. The problem I'm having is that one sound is not working. The sound when the missile hits the invader. No sound at all, but all the other sounds work just fine. Any suggestions where I should start looking for the problem? So, Tim, typically when we're missing one sound, it's probably going to be in the sound ROM,
right?
A sound ROM chip, because that means it's having trouble loading that sound. If all the rest of the sounds are working, probably something in a sound ROM chip on the board. And so what you'll want to do is look at the sound ROM chips. And Tim, I think the manual for Space Invader just does a pretty good job of helping you identify some of these chips. But you want to look at the sound ROM, specifically the one that's in charge of doing game sounds, Tim, like explosions and things. And then go ahead and you may need to replace that. You may need to touch up solder on that. And there may be more than one chip, Tim. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Either.
But usually sound ROMs are going to be the problem whenever we're missing like just one or two sounds or something like that.
And definitely could be just what we talked about. It could be an old solder joint that's just not making a good connection any longer.
Yeah, Tim, we've worked on a lot of Space Invaders, and I've seen those board sets. They kind of link together at like this right angle, and so there's a edge connector and then an edge insert, of course. And so you want to make sure too that all of those are lined up and connected together as well, if that's the kind of Space Invaders board set that you have. But like Tim mentioned, touching up solder on the sound chips may help as well. If they're socketed, of course, try pushing down on them a little bit, see if you can make that connection a little bit better. And Tim, sometimes turning the voltage up just a hair can help as well, especially if you're having just like, if it's a recurring sound issue like that. But more than likely, probably something in a sound ROM chip on the game board. So go ahead, identify those sound ROM chips. And if you need some help, send us a picture of your board set. We can probably help you identify those. But the manuals, Tim, for Space Invaders in particular are very good. They're a lot of help. So find you a manual for your Space Invaders, and you should be able to locate those chips pretty easily. And if you need replacements for that, you can go to hobbyroms.com, Tim. They can burn you a new set of ROMs. So if you
could just replace them all if you had to.
Exactly. Stefan there, you just tell him, hey, I've got Space Invaders. I've got this version of Space Invaders, and these sound ROMs are not working for me. He can burn you a new set, ship it your way, and get it done. Or if you've got your own ROM burner, Tim, you can boot up MAME and burn your own. So it just depends on where you are in your technical ability, I would say. So hopefully, Joe, that helps you. And if you have any additional questions, please let us know as we go through the show. Well, Tim, let us move on through our arcade repair escapade. Is that a good way to say it? Now, I love the screen name of this person in particular. It's maybe one of my favorites ever. The screen name is Sarcasm at Best One.
Okay.
Sarcasm at Best One writes, I'm trying to install a 412-in-1 board into my cabinet that has a 60-in-1 board. My joystick and start buttons are not working. I don't know what I have to do. I did cut the ground wire. Can you tell me anything I can do to get it working? Or get it to work, Tim. So, Tim, Sarcasm at Best One is trying to install a 412-in-1 board into a 60-in-1 board. And as we know, Tim, the pinouts are not quite the same. Right. And so what we talk about in that video is we usually cut the ground wire at pin 27 on both sides, because that is actually the 6 button on the 412-in-1.
Right.
And so we will cut that. But Tim, there's a problem with that depending on how your game is wired, correct?
Right. You're literally could be cutting the ground that you need for those buttons in that joystick.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm thinking happened to Sarcasm at Best One here, Tim, is that somebody probably wired up those grounds with pin 27, and when he sliced that thing, guess what happened?
Yeah, but what he could easily do is just strip that wire and go ahead and find another ground and tie into it, or jumper off a working ground or working button in your game. Find a ground. If he didn't say the start, did he say the start button wasn't working?
He said joystick and start buttons.
Okay. Well, maybe if your fire button or whatever else is working, then you find a button that's working and jumper off that ground. And that might solve your issue.
Absolutely. The other thing, Tim, you can of course do is splice into pin 28, which is the down ground. Right. Exactly. Right. The one on the very bottom of the harness. So if you cut pin 28 and then you join pin 27 and 28 from the control panel together, and then you connected it to pin 28 on the harness, you'd have a ground all the way across the board there as well.
That's a good idea.
But unfortunately, this happens sometimes depending on how people wire their cabinets.
All right.
Tim, you and me usually do use pin 27 as the ground for the control panel.
A lot of times.
Right. And if you do that, you're going to have to find another way to insert that ground in there. Whether, like Tim said, it's from a button that already has a working ground, or whether it's by splicing into an existing ground wire. And so, Tim, with that said, let's go ahead and show this outline here, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So the way that the joystick and start buttons are not working would seem to indicate a grounding issue. It's possible that the person who wired up your cabinet used the ground wire pin at pin 27 as the ground for those controls. You can check this by doing a continuity test between pin 27 and one of the ground prongs. If these controls are using the ground at pin 27, you need to take the end of the cut pin 27 wire that goes to the control panel and tie it into a ground wire. And you can do that either at pin 28, like we talked about, and use our methods in the post and video on repairing broken, cut, or damaged wires.
Yeah.
Or you can do it like Tim mentioned and just connect it to a button that has a working ground already. So you can do either one of those, and they should work fine. And Tim, basically by doing that, that's almost like continuing the daisy chain.
Right.
So if we do that, we're saying, okay, well, there's a working ground here, so I'm just going to daisy off that one and continue my daisy chain to the rest of my controls. So, Tim, anything else here for Sarcasm at Best One before we continue?
I don't think so, but I'm like you. I like the name.
Yeah, exactly. Good good screen name there. Always fun to have that. But Tim, I think this is, we don't get this question a lot, but I think it's a good point because it really depends on how your cabinet is wired.
Right.
And I maybe should have said that when I did the 412 in 1 video, that be careful about cutting pin 27 because you may have it wired up. But in 60 in 1s, Tim, typically I don't ever use pin 27 as the ground. We only use pin 28 because there's just that many controls. Right, exactly. With 60 in 1s, you don't have a whole lot of controls, and so it's easy enough for you to just use pin 28 basically to do all the grounds. But for those of you but it always depends on who wired your cabinet, Tim. As we know, wiring comes in a lot of varieties, especially when you get a game from the auction.
Yep.
And so you never know what kind of quality it is in as far as wiring is concerned. So just be careful with that and make sure that you're tying into a ground, and you should be in good shape. So, sarcasm, the best one. Hopefully answer your question. And good luck getting that, what was that, Tim? That was 412 in 1 board, working in that 60 in 1 cabinet. So, okay. Joe Flores says he will keep us updated on the progress, Tim, that with the Tato Space Invasion.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Let us know we can help you, Joe.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, Tim. Well, this is the last question for this episode. Actually, last two.
That's
and they both come from Jumpingeneral, who's not here tonight.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Normally is.
One of our regulars, Tim, wrote in a couple of questions.
He was probably
for this
here last night looking for it.
That's true. I tried to make it easy for you guys to know that we were changing times. Like I changed the YouTube schedule. I posted on the Facebook and X feeds. I tried to tell you guys.
That's why it's a live show. Some stuff just can't be avoided.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. So, hey, if you're watching after the fact, that's good too, right? So, well, Tim, let's go to these last couple of questions from Jumpingeneral. And then we'll move on to other things, Tim. So here we go. Questions from Jumpingeneral, Tim. What is the best way to cut plexiglass? I'm working on a Popeye control panel decal, and I don't have any luck with a jigsaw.
Okay.
And then the second question is, does anyone reproduce the Lethal Enforcer's instructions decals on the monitor bezel glass? I am needing one. So, Tim, we have two here. We have best way to cut plexi, not with a jigsaw, apparently. And then reproduction Lethal Enforcer's instruction decals, Tim. So let's go with that first one there. Best way to cut plexi. Now, Tim, this is something that comes up quite a bit. As people know, plexiglass is usually used as like control panel protection.
Right. And we have tried everything.
We have tried a lot of stuff.
Jigsaw, bandsaw. And you're right. Just when you think you're doing good, then something just splinters and it cracks and ruins everything.
For sure.
The best way to do it is to take a scoring tool made for that and to literally get you a straight edge and score it multiple times, and then you just break it.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way.
So we should say something about plexiglass.
We have a video on it, right?
We have one with the hot one, the Weller burning one.
Yeah,
which that one works okay too. I feel like the scoring tool works better for me, but the heat gun is okay if you want to go that way. When it comes to plexiglass, a couple of things: don't take off the outside protection until you cut it.
Right.
That's a big one. Another thing is that don't buy the cheapest plexiglass.
No.
Because the cheapest plexiglass will splinter and break in places that the good stuff won't. So get you some really nice plexiglass and make sure you leave the little cover and overlay stuff that comes, the little plastic that covers it. Leave that on until you go to cut and you break it, because that will help with that as well. That plastic with it on there, I feel like it keeps it as one complete piece a little bit better. And so make sure that you keep that together. Tim, any other tips for plexiglass?
No, I don't think so. We did shoot a video with some plexiglass that might help.
Yeah, we did the Weller tool, Tim, and we've also done a video on drilling holes in plexiglass with the step drill bit that you should definitely check out if you haven't already. Now, what about those Lethal Enforcers decals, Tim? Who has those Lethal Enforcers decals?
Best bet we know is Jeff at XL Arcade.
There you go. Some of our other suppliers don't really carry that.
No, it's not a popular one.
Right. We do Game On Graphics a lot, Tim. It's one of our favorite art suppliers, and they don't really have that. Who else? Is it Phoenix Arcade? Phoenix Arcade has art. They don't really carry that. And so Jeff at XL Arcade is probably the best of the people who offer that particular decal. And so we have a link down below there, Jumpingeneral, for you in the show notes. You can click on that and order your plexi. Tim, we also have a link to the scoring tool that we use. And so if you need that scoring tool, you can grab that there as well. They're both down in the show notes, so make sure you guys get that. And Tim, I'm going to go ahead and put the outline up here just so we can kind of show those tools off and what those decals look like. So, and I'll reiterate what's on the slide here. Using a scoring tool is the best way we found to cut plexiglass at home. You will need to run the scoring tool several times to create a good groove so that you can cleanly, quote-unquote, break the plexiglass into the size you need. And Tim, like we mentioned, we do have the link to the scoring tool, and you can see it there in the slide. And then, Tim, for Lethal Enforcer's instruction decals, your best bet is probably Jeff at XL Arcade. He has the best reputation among artwork suppliers that offer this decal. And so, Tim, we have the link there as well and down in the show notes for Jump in General. So hopefully he can get a nice decal. Tim, I think it's funny that decal says shoot here to reload, even though you can pretty much shoot anywhere to reload except for on the screen. But, it's one of the first light gun games I really remember playing. So I think that's the reason why it's down there. But and, Tim, we should mention on cutting plexiglass, if you've got a glass company or like Lowe's, sometimes they'll cut that glass for you.
They will.
So if you need a particular size, especially like Lowe's here, if you need a particular size, just go buy a sheet of plexiglass and they'll cut it however you need it. So, just tell them the sizing. And they've got that big kind of T looking thing that they do it with. And it's basically a huge scoring tool. It's a little bit easier to cut on that than it is with the little handheld guy for sure. So Joe says get a nice straight edge to run the tool along. Yes, get a nice metal ruler, a meter stick, yardstick kind of thing. Makes a huge difference when you're running that scoring tool up and down that plexiglass. Because again, the better you score it, the cleaner the break you're going to get. Right. And that's what you're really trying to accomplish.
You really want to get about halfway through it before you break it.
For sure. And, put it on the edge of a table along that break so that when you push it down.
I will say, if you're trying to use a jigsaw or something, one thing that I have seen is put that blue painter's tape over it and cut right where across that tape. It does seem to help some. But again, I've been to the point where I thought I had it and then it cracked.
Yeah, maybe if you get a really fine tip
blade, the finer the better.
Yeah, a fine blade that has really close together teeth. That's probably your best bet with it, right?
Probably so.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go with like a wood style blade because that'll splinter it. You really want something that's got the teeth close together, really fine, so that when it's going through there, it's not gonna splinter the plexi. Because that's one of the hardest things about it is it will splinter pretty easily. So be careful.
Probably
with that.
So.
Anything else, Tim, for plexi?
No.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Jump in General, we didn't see here tonight, but we did answer your questions, so hopefully that helps. And let us know how it goes with the scoring tool and with that decal from XL Arcade. Now, Tim, usually when we only have a couple of questions, I do a quiz or something.
Right.
Guys, it's been a week, okay? I was already telling Tim about my week, and he'll tell you it's been a week. So, I did not do a quiz tonight. And so I'm sorry, guys. Usually we would do that to kind of fill some time. But tonight we are not. But we could leave this open for any kind of discussion you want to do, Tim. I can tell you that I had some games out at my Halloween party, Tim.
Oh, yeah?
So the game room, as you guys know, is a wreck. I think we've talked about this, Tim. Now, it looks probably better than the last time you were here. We've organized a little bit. We got stuff kind of in piles a little bit better than what we did. But unfortunately, we could not get it ready for the Halloween party. So instead, I took some games out into the living room. My wife allowed me to take some games out into the living room. We took the Arcade 1-Up Crane. We took the Arcade 1-Up Simpsons. They're all Arcade 1-Ups. Easier to get in the living room.
Sure.
And then Mortal Kombat 2 and a Pac-Man.
Okay.
And so we took them into the living room, and a lot of people played and had fun. Tim, I bought some plush. Every kid that actually was at the party, the 20 people that we had, they got to go home with a piece of plush if they won it. So, I tell you what is it about crane games that people dislike? I mean, it's awesome. Great. So it was really fun to have some arcade games there. I saw the adults playing some Mortal Kombat, some Pac-Man and things like that. I thought about putting some out in the yard, but thing about I only want to put arcade 1-Ups out there. I don't want to put my nice games.
Right.
And then I'm always afraid that the joysticks will just come unscrewed. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. We had one Halloween. We had a Dracula pinball.
Yeah.
And a Wizard of War that had a light problem, but it would kind of go, and the light would go on and off. And we let people play those. Those were pretty big hits.
Yeah. Oh, Joe had a great idea. We're going to do a sock puppet show instead of the quiz, damn it.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. I have to use my sock puppet voice.
I didn't know you had one.
I did an entire puppet show when I was in 5th grade.
Okay.
We were talking about a 30-minute musical.
I think I helped in children's church at some point.
I was about to say, the puppets are very good. I need to maybe you can make a Jonathan puppet and I can make a Tim puppet.
Oh, well, that would be interesting.
So there you go.
I think we could just go on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everybody would be okay. Any other
No, I think we're good. Oh, Jumping General's here, Tim.
Okay.
Oh, he chimed in there. There he is. Hey guys, thanks for the info. I've got 50 games to keep running. Lots of work. Always, yes.
We understand.
5 games is hard to keep running, let alone 50. So for sure. But yeah, unfortunately, guys, no quiz tonight. So, and we kind of had a light month for questions. So it kind of, it just depends on the month as to how many we're getting.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on, Tim.
Okay.
Pass the sock puppets, if you will. So we'll make it up in the after show. We'll probably go long there. So if you want to stay around for that. Tim, I said in the the social media post, that we were going to be discussing a game that turns 40 this year, Tim.
That's right.
So without looking at the slide, any guesses?
No.
40
years old, a lot of them are turning 40.
Right.
I'm more in the 50 range.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Digital Jazz Arcade like my sock puppet voice for the...
I don't remember. I don't know who's turning 40.
It is okay. It is. Do you know the game Space Harrier by Sega, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Let's talk about it real quick. Space Harrier at 40. How Sega's Surreal Classic brought total immersion back to arcades in the 80s, and this is from The Guardian, Tim, which is a pretty big news outlet. Space Harrier turns 40, and what a ride it's been. Sega's mind-bending 1985 arcade shooter by Yu Suzuki dumped players into a surreal jetpack fantasy world and pushed the boundaries with motion cabinet thrills, synth-pop sound, and super scalar 3D effects. Tim, have you played Space Harrier before?
It's been a long time, but I do remember it. It reminded me kind of Contra. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different than that.
Bit, but you're in space.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of going around a screen, and you're traversing, aliens and things like that. You're shooting.
I remember it.
Jetpack and everything.
I definitely remember it.
Yeah, despite its age and rarity in modern arcades, its immersive design and fantastical visuals still stand out as a landmark moment in arcade history. So for those of you guys who remember Space Harrier, it was a pretty cool game, Tim, and it does have a full motion cabinet if you've never seen it, which is pretty cool. But you don't see a lot of them around anymore, Tim.
No,
it's kind of a rare game.
Rare.
A lot of those Sega games I feel like are a little bit more rare nowadays. So, but congratulations, Space Harrier, a very unforgettable game, Tim, turning 40 this year. So, coming over to the live chat, I mentioned that somebody liked my sock puppet voice.
Okay,
Tim, that is what it is. YouTube Punk says can't say, but want to say hi. Hit the like button, folks. Yes, please hit the like button, and thank you for chiming in, YouTube Punk, and just being here for a second. So, YouTube Punk says that first person Contra is a good description of Space Harrier. Yeah, that's pretty close, I would say. So, for sure. But there we go. Yeah. So, pretty good, Tim. So, were you a big Space Harrier fan? 1985?
I barely remember it. I remember seeing it in an arcade, maybe in Oklahoma City. And it was like one of those games a lot of people were playing. And then I kept looking for another one, didn't see it, and I think I saw one at auction one time later. I think we're at a festival or something. I was about to say, when I think of... Maybe the arcade festival or something.
YouTube Bunk says more third person, not first person. Third person Contra, better way to say it. Yeah, I think that when it comes to Sega games, probably the one I saw the most was Afterburner.
Sure.
By far. Like that, I mean, of all of the Sega games I ever saw in arcades, I think I saw more Afterburners than anything else. And, now we've seen a lot Power Drift and some of these other ones, but... But the only Sega game I remember seeing in my arcade growing up was Afterburner. So
agreed.
But I have seen a Space Harrier cabinet, pretty cool, and I think that the game is unique in itself. So, if you will. Now, Tim, I thought it was interesting that this was one of our trending stories this month because it's kind of old information, but all it takes is for somebody to post some old information, and then you're there, right?
Right.
So this is from tastingtable.com, Tim. Tastingtable.com, this late 70s pizza chain went bankrupt, but Chuck E. Cheese emerged from its ashes. Now, Tim, you could probably tell me what that pizza chain was.
Oh, that would be Showbiz Pizza.
Well, Pizza Time Theater.
Pizza Time Theater,
Pizza Time Theater, correct. So in 1977, Atari founder Nolan Bushnell launched Pizza Time Theater, a pioneering family entertainment concept that blended pizza, animatronic shows, and arcade games. The chain grew rapidly to more than 240 locations, but the 1983 video game crash and overexpansion led to its bankruptcy in 1984. From its legacy, Chuck E. Cheese was born, carrying the arcade pizza experience into a new era of family fun. So, Tim, this is the little, you see the Chucky here.
Yeah, it's an old Chucky there.
I'm telling you, boy.
He's pretty scary looking.
So, yeah.
He did look like a rat.
Yeah, Jason Steerson says, I own your last Afterburner. There you go. And then YouTube Punk says, jump scare on that guy. I agree with that. Goodness, look at that. Now, Tim, these are the ones that were probably powered by like the old like Apple II computers with like the hydraulics and everything like that. That wrap looks creepy, everybody said. I agree.
Yeah.
But that's what Chuck E. Cheese looked like the first animatronic ones, right?
Yep.
Now, Tim, you were past this point by the time you got there, right?
Right.
So were you already kind of like in modern Chucky?
More. He had more of a rounder face and big jowls, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he did change even a lot from the time I was there.
Yeah, for sure. So but this is like a first edition here, and yeah, I think jump scare would probably be a good way to say it for sure. Rodriguez Arcades is here, says hello from Chicago, Tim.
Hello.
So let's see what we have. I'm looking at the live chat here. Josu Carreno, I'm gonna say, says, "Is Arcade Technician a good job in this day and age?" We can talk about that for a second. Tim. I'm gonna take a break from the discussion. What do you think?
I would say, yeah, it's a good paying job because game's great, and if you're mechanically inclined and you like it, the plus sides are most pay decent, and you have to have a little skill, and you get to work on games, which is fun. The downside is, depends on the location, what time they open. You can get very busy. Sometimes it's hard to work with 20 kids around you and stuff like that. So depending on the location and the pay, I don't think you're going to be a wealthy millionaire if you work on arcade games, but you can make a decent living, and it is fun if you really enjoy stuff like that. And sometimes it's just kind of neat to get games working and watch kids play them and stuff like that. But then again, I don't miss it a lot. It's like there's certain things. It was a period of my life that I enjoyed, but I wouldn't want to do it. And I made a lot more money once I left. And did management type things. Yeah,
so like a lot of people may remember that Tim was also the manager at Mr. Gaddy's. Mm-hmm. And they had a lot of games as well, correct?
Right.
So you didn't have to do a lot of repair there, though.
No, we had an arcade technician that worked for me.
Right.
I helped out and gave advice, but they handled most of that area for me.
So would you say that arcade technician, like especially if you're starting in like a Chuck E. Cheese, is really just maybe an entry into maybe getting into management?
Yes. if or to own your own place one day. If you're young, I think it's great. The older you get, the harder it is on you, getting up and down.
Crawling into the back of games is not, when you get older, it sucks.
But, I don't want to discourage anybody because, it's what motivates you, And then a lot of times they're busy on weekends, so it's pretty rare that you would get weekends off or something. So it depends. And then there's arcades right on the beach and people work and get some sun and love it. So it kind of depends on you and what your value, what you want to get in life. Getting rich is probably not the best job. Making a decent living and getting some perks from that, then you may like it. It's up to you.
Sounds good. And there are enough arcades now that there are enough arcade technician jobs out there. I'd say.
Right.
That if you're in a good city or metropolitan area, you can probably find multiple jobs for arcade technician.
YouTube Punk would be, or one of those guys would be a good person to ask. They're currently doing it. Got 50 games. It's definitely
Jumpingeneral.
I'm sorry, Jumpingeneral. You definitely got, it's work. It's definitely work to keep all of them up and running. And just the second you think everything's running good, something else will happen. So they definitely require. It's a lot of work.
Well, another thing I think, just talking with our friend Scott, Tim, who's kind of gotten back in the arcade repair after a while, is that getting parts is harder now.
Right.
And you also are dealing with tariffs and things. And so parts are more expensive a lot of times because they are coming from China, other countries like that. And so, and then the lag time for getting them is longer. And so you do have to keep that in mind whenever you're doing your arcade tech stuff. Make sure you have a good selection of parts, right, Tim? Make sure you have the right tools on hand. Those are all very important things when you're going into arcade technician. Going to be an arcade technician. So we have a nice video on your first arcade toolbox, Tim. That's a good place to start for your tools. And then you want to make sure that you have parts on hand, any common parts that may break. Tim, are there any common parts that you remember that you always stock because it just always felt like those games always needed them?
Just depending on the game. Certain games needed guns or buttons, joysticks. You always wanted to keep stuff like that on hand. Mm-hmm. Plenty of wires and Molex connectors and things where you could quickly fix something.
I was just wondering if there was something you kept around, the power supply and skee ball always goes out. So we always.
You always have extra balls, power supplies around. an extra board set if you could, because your job is to fix it quick, not to spend all day soldering and desoldering. You did that when you had time. You put another board in and pull that one out and then troubleshoot.
For sure.
That's the key, is to get these back up. They're not making any money when they're not working.
That's right. Joe says free pizza perks.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's funny now when I buy a pizza at the house for 20 years, I had free pizza every day.
That's right.
And so
I cashed in on some of that free pizza with them, for the record. And you know what? And I will say this. I don't know how it is now, but when we used to eat Chuck E. Cheese pizza, it was good pizza.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's better than you think. You know, better than I remember. I feel like it was not that great.
It's better than it was in the earlier days.
For sure. Digital Jazz Arcade, I have 30-ish games, and it's hard to keep them all working and running all the time. Yeah, you see, when you started getting into double digits, Tim, is when it starts really getting challenging for keeping all games up. And one of the things we used to do is we'd keep a game kind of in a back room that we could swap out real quick if we couldn't fix the issue quickly. And so if you've got the luxury of having working games that you can swap in, that's a good way to handle it as well. So, don't put all your games out on the floor.
To me, it was really hard to do a lot of the repairs on the floor.
Absolutely.
When people were there, especially.
Yeah.
You had to kind of come in early or stay late or whatever. A lot of that was really hard for me.
Yeah, especially like on a spring break where it's just blowout busy crazy. And you can't do anything. So I get that. Okay. Well, that was a nice little side trip, Tim. Yep. I liked it a lot. There you go. Tim worked that job. How long did you work that job?
17 years.
There you go. So 17 years as an arcade tech.
And probably 2 or 3 when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
For peanuts, for gameplay.
Yeah. So there we go. Well, thank you, Tim, for chiming in on that. Let us continue through our news and discussion real quick, Tim, with this next story about G4 content. Now, Tim, I will say that I was a big G4 viewer back in the day.
Sure.
I watched G4 Tech TV, and I even watched them when they merged, of course. And I do like a lot of those old shows like X-Plane Attack of the Show. And they had all those up on YouTube, Tim, until recently when they decided to basically delete them from their YouTube channel. Comcast is who owns all this, technically NBCUniversal. And so Comcast G4 TV has deleted over 90% of the YouTube archives for its iconic shows X-Play and Attack of the Show, erasing thousands of episodes and a major piece of gaming culture. The purge leaves fans and media historians scrambling, and only a handful of clips remain from the network's prime early 2000 era. No official explanation has been given, sparking concerns about the broader vulnerability of digital archives and the history in the making moments disappearing for good. And Tim, I love G4, and we watched G4. One of the cool things about G4 is they had old episodes of Starcade.
Yes.
Which we used to watch all the time. The old episodes of Starcade were fantastic. But Attack of the Show and X-Play were two of the best shows on the network, I felt like. They did video game reviews. They talked about different topics in the video game
It's
world.
weird how they just deleted them all. Like, I wonder what their end game is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe it's, if it's to put them on a paid service like their Peacock service, maybe that was it,
Maybe.
Tim. So they could make some money off that content. Or maybe, I don't know. It's interesting. Or maybe there was an issue with copyright. That could be a thing. I don't know. But it's super sad that we're losing all that content from G4, Tim, because that's there's a lot of great content there. So it literally is like history. Tim, I like video game magazines from when I was a kid, and I still have a lot of mine. And so it's kind of like throwing all those magazines out, right?
Right.
So definitely sad to hear that, and I'm hoping that they restore that content in some form or fashion for sure. Yeah, no warning. YouTube Punk says no warning. There was no warning. It just kind of boom, gone. So it is what it is. But YouTube is a great place to put videos, Tim, and you can monetize them here as we do. So why not put it up on there, make a little money? I don't know.
I don't understand.
Maybe they weren't making what they wanted. Maybe they'll, maybe they'll take it back to Peacock since they own Peacock. So
we'll see.
there we go. Okay, Tim, our next story here has to do with the Vectrex Mini, Tim. Have you seen the Vectrex Mini?
That's cool.
Yes, so the Vectrex Mini arrives and brings back the glow, but with a modern twist. And this is from Tech E-Blog, Tim. The new Vectrex Mini revives the iconic Vector display console with a modern twist. The handheld has a 5-inch screen on it, Tim, so it's very small. HDMI output, Bluetooth controller, and micro SD expandable storage. It comes preloaded with 12 classic games and is set to launch via Kickstarter at an early bird price of €99, Tim, with deliveries expected by mid-2026. This sleek console blends retro charm with today's tech, making it a must-see for arcade fans. Now, Tim, this is obviously small, 5-inch screen, okay? So not very big. But, Tim, as somebody who's always wanted a Vectrex, this may be the closest that I'll ever get to one. When me and Tim used to go garage selling, that was one of the consoles we were always kind of in search of. Do you guys know how the Vectrex came about? It basically came about because they had a surplus of Vector monitors and thought, hey, we can do something with this.
And made a game.
Console out of it. So, Tim, do you have any memories of actually playing the Vectrex?
I have played one at arcade expos and stuff, but I've never owned one.
Yeah, me neither. And I never played one when I was a kid either. I only played them at the expos, like you were saying.
Yeah, so. This is definitely interesting to me.
Well, and the HDMI output's pretty interesting, Tim, because even though the screen itself is small, you can still hook it up to a TV and play it. So that gives you a little bit of options there. The price may be a little steep at 99 euros, Tim. I'm not sure exactly what that converts to in US dollars
pretty
right
close.
Now. Is it pretty close to the same right now? So, I mean, that feels expensive to me. But if you like the Vectrex, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. So, Tim, is 99 euros too expensive for you?
I don't know. It's tempting. I'd like to see when it comes to Amazon or something what it converts to and how fast I could get it.
Yeah, for sure. I understand. So, yeah, Kickstarter right now doesn't have the best track record, Tim, for some of these projects. Have you seen that? So, for sure. We got to be careful there. So, now, Tim, we said we were going to go see this movie, and I did, but you didn't.
I did not get to.
Okay, unfortunately, and we were trying to work out something. I think it was a Tuesday night. I was like, let's go see it. Yeah, and you had to leave, and so Tim was not able to see it. But I was able to see the new Tron Ares movie. And Tim, we have a story kind of concerning the movie saying Jared Leto's 40-year journey to Tron Ares started in an arcade, Tim. Imagine that. So in a compelling clip from IGN, actor Jared Leto shares how his journey to his lead role in Tron Ares began decades ago in an arcade. Playing the original Tron arcade game as a kid sparked a lifelong passion for the actor. The video tracks how that early love for gaming laid the foundation for his deep connection to the franchise and this latest film. It's a reminder of how an arcade memory can come full circle. Yeah, so, awesome. Tim, I know that Jared Leto has gotten a lot of hate. I go to some of the movie Reddits and things like this on the internet, and they really don't like Jared Leto. I get it. And I will say this, though. If you are not a big fan of his, he plays his part really well. Okay. So I felt like it was really well done. Let's talk about Tron Ares real quick.
All right. How was the movie?
So, well, it was good. Before I tell my review, and if other people want to chime in the live chat, tell us what you thought if you saw it. I want to hear your thoughts too. You've seen the trailer, so what were you thinking when you saw the trailer?
I was thinking that it seemed more like original, kind of kind of going back to the basics kind of deal of what made Tron interesting. Other than that, I didn't really was really looking forward to seeing it. Still haven't. So
okay, well, here's my official review, Tim. Let's do it. This is the Tron Ares movie review, and unfortunately, I don't have any graphics to go along with it.
That's all right.
So we low budget around here, couldn't afford them for the time. So I went to see it on a Monday night. I found a free Monday night because my wife and my kids were out of town. Wow. They were off school on Monday. Actually, it was Monday night, and they were coming back home, and so I got to go see it right after work, which is nice. Tim, it's really good. It is better than what the box office would tell you. The amount of money it's made so far at the theater, I think, is I don't know.
I don't think it'll be at the theater very much longer. That's why I'm trying to hurry and get out there.
And I will say this is a movie you need to see in the theater.
Okay.
And the reason why is because the soundtrack, it's an enveloping movie. Okay, so the soundtrack and then the way that the Tron universe with the CGI and everything, the way it interacts with itself is really well done. And it's definitely something you want to be in an immersive theater for. Tim, we saw it in IMAX.
Okay.
So which is what it's shot in. It's shot in IMAX. Tim, it's a good movie. Now look, it's not going to be like my favorite movie of all time, okay? Right. But it's got
as far as Tron movies go, how does it rank?
Maybe the best.
Oh, wow. See? That says something.
Right. Real close to, I would say, Legacy.
Okay.
So it's really hard for me to tell the difference between Legacy and this.
Okay.
Okay, as far as the quality is concerned. So, but for the most part, this is much better than... the original Tron movie, I know, is a cult classic and everything, but the story is kind of weak, right? The whole kind of thing is weak. This tells a really great story to me.
Okay.
I say good. It's a good story. Good story. It is interesting enough to get you interested in what's happening.
How do you think your wife would have liked it had she went? She being a big Tron fan.
She would have been. It was okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely for people who. There's a lot of fan service.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you're just a fan of action, you'd probably like it.
Okay.
If you're a general action fan, you're probably going to like
So my
Tron.
nephews who love video games but don't even know what a Tron is.
They would like it.
They would like it.
Yeah, your nephews, if they're video gamers,
Yeah,
and
they're gamers.
yeah, if they're like gamers, and they're like, oh man, like I want to go see a movie, I think Tron would be really great for them.
Okay.
So I will say
I remember that.
But again, when it comes home, I don't think you're going to get the same experience. I watch a lot of movies on my tablet, right? Because
me
my
too.
kids go to sleep and I'm watching on my tablet. This is
No
not
way.
the kind of movie you want to watch on your tablet.
Okay.
This is the kind of movie you want to see on the big screen. And I felt like it was acted very well. So you can
good.
talk about the story being okay. I felt like the acting from everybody was pretty darn good.
Okay.
Okay, even Jared Leto. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But, I mean, if you're asking me to rate it, I'd probably rate it a 75, 80. But at the same time, it's very enjoyable.
Okay.
So you're going to come out, you're going to be like, I had a good time at the movie theater. And that's what you want from a movie, right?
For sure.
It's like you come out and it's like, man, it was a great time. I got lost in the movie. I enjoyed the story. I loved all the action. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get those kind of feels from this kind of movie. So I would say 75 on a scale of 100.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Good
like,
deal.
what would that be? 3 out of 4 stars?
Yeah.
It's a 3 out of 4 star movie. It's not something you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to remember this movie forever kind of thing. In fact, you may not even remember seeing it like a week from now. But at the same time, you're going to have a good time while you're there. So
Okay.
it's definitely worth your time. Let's see if anybody saw it here. Alan says he's at his kid's high school football game and it's too loud for me to hear. I will catch this show later. Well, Alan, just thank you for even showing up at all.
Thank
and
you.
hey, go your kid's football team.
Right.
So whichever one that is, Wildcats, or isn't that generic enough?
Yeah.
So
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. That's right. Whatever it is. Alan says I own 2 Vectrex. We'll get the mini also. He says so.
Nice.
He will be buying that mini. Joe says sold my Tron arcade around $19.99 for $200 and felt I did pretty good on that price. Definitely one of my few regrets. As most
Right.
people know, Tron arcades now go for $2,000 plus,
Right.
depending. So on quality. Joe says soundtrack was awesome. 9 Inch Nails did the soundtrack. I am a big fan of 9 Inch Nails. I thought it was very entertaining, and the soundtrack was good. 9 Inch
Okay.
Nails nailed it. I mean, and
Okay.
no pun intended. They nailed the feel and the sound. And we talk a lot about Tron Legacy and Daft Punk, who did the soundtrack for
Right.
that. And you think of Daft Punk does that kind of music.
Mhm.
9 Inch Nails is not really known for that so much, but they fit that style better than I would have thought. And
Okay.
so the music is definitely a part of the experience when you go to watch the movie. It is very immersive. And it's got a lot of throwback for those of you who have seen all the rest of the movies too.
Good.
So do the throwback as well. The throwback was incredible. So, but see it in the theater. Go on discount Tuesday, discount Wednesday if you got an AMC next to you, Tim, or whatever discount day, and at least go see the movie. Because I think if you're even halfway interested in Tron, you're going to like it. So,
Okay.
and even if you're not, if you're into video games, like your nephews,
okay.
take them with you. Okay, because they're going to say, wow, that was a good movie. I had a good time. Who doesn't like a good, just solid action flick?
For sure.
That's basically what it is. Good, solid action flick. Paul Dre's here, Tim.
Hey, Paul.
What's up, Paul? Everybody's showing up now. That's what I'm talking about. So good to see all you guys tonight. So, but definitely check it out before it leaves movie theaters if you can. Discount tickets around here, Tim, are like $6.
Right.
And that's if you do non-IMAX. If you just do like standard, just go see it in standard theater with good sound. You'll enjoy yourself. You'll enjoy yourself. So solid 3 out of 4 stars for sure.
Sounds good.
There we go. Well, Tim, I guess it's about time to wrap it up now for the regular show. We do want to put some reminders out there real quick before we leave. We do want your arcade-related videos. If you want some free advertising for your YouTube channel, we're looking for people to submit short videos of 10 minutes or less about arcade-related topics. And if you've got one of those, send a link of your video to questions@arcaderepairtips.com, and our staff will review it. If we like it, we'll use it during one of our live show episodes. Make sure you put a plug-in for your channel so people will know where to find you, and we look forward to seeing your submissions. Tim, of course, anybody who has an arcade-related channel, just send some video. If you want some free advertising, send one of your videos our way, and we'll try to play you here before a live show episode or something. And hopefully send a couple of our viewers your way, and so that they can get interested in your content. So we're trying to help you out here, maybe get monetized, especially if you're right on the verge of getting monetized right now. So. And then, Tim, we have our contact information. We have our general email at questions@arcaderepairtips.com, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Now, if you put live show on the subject, we will save it for the live show. Otherwise, we'll kind of answer them on the live show or whenever we get around to it. But that's definitely the best way to get in touch with us is to send us an email at questions@arcaderepairtips.com. We also have our YouTube page. Of course, those of you guys in the live chat know that. But if you're listening to this on the audio feed, you may want to check out the YouTube version of this episode. And you can do that by going to youtube.arcaderepairtips.com and finding episode 105 and watching that. Of course, comments from the last live show on YouTube will be covered on the next episode. We try to do that, Tim. So again, youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. And as we usually remind you guys, if you listen to the audio feed of this, you don't get the after show. If you want the after show, you will need to go to youtube.arcaderepairtips.com and listen to the episode there. And then we have our audio podcast feed, Tim, that usually has live shows, interviews, and question and answer podcasts. Whatever other content that we have in audio form can be found there. And you can find us on Spreaker at spreaker.arcaderepairtips.com. You can also find us on Spotify at spotify.arcaderepairtips.com and on iTunes at itunes.arcaderepairtips.com. And if you have not already and are so inclined, we would love for you to leave a review. Tim, what can you say to entice the people to leave a review without giving away anything?
Just leave a review, please.
There you go. I like it. It's simple. It works.
It's
right?
doesn't take long.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly. So you can go to Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, or whatever your podcast app of choice is, and leave us a review. Hopefully 5 stars, and leave some good content, good messages in there. And we'll try, if we see them, we will try to call you out on the show and recognize you and tell you thank you for liking us and all that kind of stuff. But it's a cheap, inexpensive way to support us if you like our content. Again, Spreaker.arcaderepairtips.com, Spotify.arcaderepairtips.com, iTunes.arcaderepairtips.com, or wherever fine podcasts are aggregated. And then, Tim, we have our social media pages. We have our Facebook page at facebook.arcaderepairtips.com, Facebook at arcaderepairtips.com, and we have our Twitter/X feed at twitter.arcaderepairtips.com. Tim, I am fully aware it is no longer Twitter, but we still call it that. Twitter.arcaderepairtips.com will take you to our Twitter/X feed. Tim, we do try to post something every single day. I tell you what, our meme got a lot of hits, a lot of likes. Did you like the meme?
Yeah, that was funny.
I tell you what, how many times has that happened to you, where like a quick fix turned into an all-day project?
Oh, a lot.
I know.
More than I want to admit.
Oh, for sure. And so that's what the meme was about. If you didn't see that meme, you should go to our Facebook page or our X feed and check it out. It is quite funny, right, Tim?
Yes.
And so we like to do memes to promote the live show, and we hope you guys enjoy those. If you have any idea for memes, hit me up, Jonathan at arcaderepairtips.com. We'd love to hear your ideas for memes. So. Well, Tim, I think that about does it for the regular show. So we actually made more of a show out of it than I thought without the quiz.
I think so.
There you
and
go.
we got some people joined in.
We did.
They kept coming.
Now, as those of you guys who have been here know, we are going to start the after show here immediately after the live show. And the only difference between the live show and the after show is that in the after show, we can talk about whatever we want. Tim, what are some of those whatevers we're going to be talking about?
Probably talk about some sports, about some shows we've recently watched, maybe some movies. I know there's one particular show that we're going to both discuss.
Let's go ahead and say it.
Well, if you haven't seen The Perfect Neighbor.
The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix.
It's definitely worth watching and worth discussing. And then we both watched Chad Powers.
On Hulu. And so we will give you our thoughts on both those as well as some other things we've been watching. What was the one that you've been watching, Tim, on Prime?
Oh, I've been watching The House of David.
House of David. I've been watching Gen V. I saw the Simple Plan documentary on Prime Video, Tim. I've been watching, Rainmaker, Diplomat, Nobody Wants This. I can tell you a little bit about all of those. We can get to that in the after show. But the after show occurs directly after the live show. So if you want to watch that, just stay tuned. Stay put right here for about 5 minutes. And then we'll just give us time for me and Tim to go to the restroom. And we'll be right back here with you. Now, if you're listening to this again on the audio podcast feed, you will not get the after show. And we'll need to look up episode 105 on YouTube and go to the after show in order to hear that. But we hope that you guys will stick around with us for that, Tim. It's kind of just like a Tim and Jonathan hang session.
Yep.
It's just me and him catching up for a little bit. So if you want to catch up with us, we'll talk World Series too.
Yep.
What a fantastic World Series. Just a whole World Series was fantastic. We'll be talking about that as well. So stay tuned for that. Well, Tim, let's go ahead and wrap up the regular live show, Tim. Anything you want to say before we depart?
No, thanks everybody for being here. Sorry for the delay, but we're glad that you understand that sometimes life happens, and we're proud to be here tonight. And a lot of you probably are watching this film later, so thank you all for being. But thank you for those of you who could be here tonight. Stick around, ask more questions if you'd like.
Yes, absolutely. And Tim, I should say, it's just totally my fault. Like I said, we had a funeral in the family that I went to yesterday. So, I mean, I appreciate everybody just being patient, willing to kind of move days with us. And if you're watching this after the fact, couldn't make it live, that's fine. And I'm sorry that we didn't do our normal first Thursday thing. Kind of came up all of a sudden. We didn't know exactly when the funeral was going to happen, Tim. So, had to work it around the schedule. And unfortunately, the live show took the cut. But we were still able to do one, and I'm happy about that. So hopefully we get to see you guys next month on the first Thursday night of the month at 5:30 p.m. Central Time when we usually are here, Tim.
It'll be our Christmas show.
It will be. Oh, my goodness.
That's crazy.
Dude, you're just making me feel like the whole year's almost gone. Oh, my goodness.
It's nuts.
So join us in December, first Thursday night of the month at 5:30 p.m. Central Time for our Christmas episode, which I wear my hat, Tim.
Sure.
And we'll see you then. Now, again, stay tuned for the after show if you want to. But if this is your exit, thanks for being here. And remember, here at Arcade Repair Tips, when you fix the game,
you play the game.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next month in December, or we'll see you here in just about 5 minutes for the after show. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Arcade Repair Tips live show. All of our past episodes are available on our website at arcaderepairtips.com or on our YouTube page. This show is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please consult a professional before attempting to repair any coin-operated machines yourself. The preceding program is a Varcade Entertainment production.
And we're back with the after show for episode 105. Tim, I thought that even without the quiz, I thought the show went well.
Yeah, and it kind of, with a few extra questions and discussions, it kind of filled in the time slot a little bit.
For sure. Now, everybody saw our after show outline because it's up there for a second, Tim.
Okay.
No surprises on here for the most part, but let's just talk about Thanksgiving plans. I mean, what do you got for Thanksgiving?
We're having it at our house, so I know that's part of what we got to do Sunday is...
Clean.
Well, we got to start looking at what...
Tim's house is always clean. Every time I go over there, it looks nice. You and your wife do a great job.
Well, you look at my area, it's not as clean. I'm not the one that picked... It's picked up.
Right.
She would say it's not always clean. It's picked up.
Yeah, it's picked up.
But that helps too, not having any kids around.
For sure, yeah.
And so that definitely, if you go over there now, you'll see a lot of baby toys and stuff around. And sometimes I'm tripping over stuff with Holly. When she keeps Holly, it definitely looks a lot different than when she's not there.
For sure.
Everybody's coming to our house. What we need to do is, like, every year we kind of pick out, like, get some plates and stuff. So we kind of need to do that, maybe a new tablecloth, whatever. So we got to kind of, everybody, the menu's pretty set. Everybody brings, certain people bring this, certain people bring that. So that's kind of set. So
maybe we should, I was about to say, maybe we should go, what's your favorite Thanksgiving, like traditional Thanksgiving food?
Well, we always have a Greenberg turkey.
Greenberg turkey?
So
very famous here in Thailand.
Yep. And we always have turkey, dressing.
I'm asking you personally, though.
Mine, I love broccoli rice casserole.
Good broccoli rice casserole.
I don't know why, but about the only time we ever eat it, and I like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big sweet potato fan, so I like...
So, marshmallows or pecans on top?
All of it. Marshmallows and pecans.
Well, I feel like it's an either or.
Yeah, I like them both.
Yeah, you like them both?
But you got to have marshmallows on it.
You like the marshmallows better?
It's a given. Yeah, pecans I can live or live without.
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce, there's a few
cranberry sauce from a can or like made or...
Oh no, my mother-in-law makes a cranberry sauce. It's kind of fancy. It's kind of nice. But just the fact that we all get together. Last year was different. For some reason, we did it on a Friday, and everybody's like
Black Friday.
On Black Friday. For some reason, maybe it was Landon coming in from the military or something. I don't remember what all the deal was last year, but this year, we're going back traditional, so it's just going to be turkey and football.
There you go. Sounds good to me. I love turkey. Yeah, I was about to say, great stuff. Let us
almost
know.
Nothing I don't like. I like it all. So.
I'm the same way. I like my green bean casserole. I gotta get my green bean casserole. Gotta get my sweet potatoes, Tim. I'm all about that.
My niece makes tri-baked or triple baked mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah, those are good too. I know.
Man, those are so good.
And then
everybody's kind of got their specialty dish.
I feel like you got to have a bread of some sort, rolls or something like that on there.
My father-in-law makes homemade rolls. Yeah. They're really good.
So if you're in the live chat, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Mm-hmm. Traditional Thanksgiving food for those of you guys in the U.S.
We'll usually have both turkey and ham. Yeah. And my father-in-law will smoke a ham, and it's so good. The ham's usually a really big hit.
Sometimes we do both. A lot of times we'll do turkey for Thanksgiving, ham for Christmas, kind of thing. So that's common. But this year, my company, we usually do like a traditional Thanksgiving. This year, they decided to go barbecue. So we're getting barbecue this year for our Thanksgiving meal at work. So, but I like barbecue too. That's good too.
We did that a couple years ago, and we did just like brisket and stuff, and it was really good. We're never going to complain.
But there's just something about traditional Thanksgiving, Tim, that's always good.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese on there sometimes is good. Let's see. Who we got here?
My daughter-in-law makes mac and cheese really good. Yeah. It's like really good.
Misfit Chris Rule says he's got turkey mashed potatoes, honey baked ham, Tim. Honey baked ham. That's good stuff. So, there's some really great Thanksgiving Day foods. And Tim, like you said, load up.
What's kind of neat is we got a lot of international viewers. Is Thanksgiving is such an American thing.
It is, yes, absolutely.
I remember when my German friends were here for Thanksgiving, and they thought, "Wow, this is awesome." They were like, "We need to be more thankful," and do this every year. In Germany.
Now eat pies, apple, and pumpkin for sure. So I'm not a huge pumpkin pie fan, but when you get it right,
you gotta have a little Cool Whip on top.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always good
for sure. Let's see. Joe says green bean casserole. but use the breaded fried green beans. Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, those are really good.
I have not done that before.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I know what he's
Those
talking
are so
about
good.
too. I didn't even think about that.
That'd even make it twice as good. Yeah.
Now, my mom grew up in the South, so she does the bacon with the green bean casserole. You know what I'm saying? It's bacon and green bean casserole, and then with the fried onions on top, right? That's the way you make it. So, good stuff there. Man, I'm getting hungry.
I know. Now we're talking about it. And, the older I get, I really enjoy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Because all we do is eat and watch football.
For
It's
sure.
kind of a good day. And this job I currently have, we're always off the rest of the weekend. We're not allowed to work on Black Friday. So it's a 4-day weekend for me, so I really look forward to it.
Me too, and same for me, Tim. Now, I remember when both of us had jobs where that was not the case.
Yeah.
When I worked at Best Buy, man,
it was crazy.
I was doing Black Fridays, right?
Yeah.
So Black Fridays were always crazy. Glad to have Fridays off now. So they are Black Friday.
And don't you think Black Fridays have calmed down a lot? Because
Oh,
now
by
so
far.
much of it you can buy online.
Yeah.
Back in them days, people would be camping out all night for a big screen
We
TV
used
or
to do
so,
that.
right?
We used to. I had strike teams. We go to Best Buy. Like
Right.
after I stopped working there, man, we would go and scoop up the good deals. We'd camp out all night. Get up there at like midnight. Now there'd be people there who had eaten their Thanksgiving dinner up there. So
Right.
I mean, it was crazy. Let's see. YouTube Bunk says sweet potatoes.
Of course.
Misfit Chris has to have whipped cream. Whipped cream has to be there, man. That is one of the things. And no cranberry sauce, Tim. I've had the homemade, and I've also had the can.
I don't mind the can.
The can is fine.
Yeah.
I have no problems with the can. I figured this out too.
So it was funny that, we can bring this up, with the government shutdown and stuff. My niece could not get her, what's it called? WIC stuff. But the food bank was giving out some food, and they gave her a institutional size jar, one of those cans of cranberry sauce.
Oh my goodness.
And we're like, who could eat that much cranberry sauce? It's not even Christmas. I mean, you could feed 100. So we're just like, I think we'll just give that to the Salvation Army or something. I don't know what to do with
Just
that.
passing along all the cranberry
But can you imagine
sauce.
that big a can?
It's a great
And we're
palate
like,
cleanser. That's what I like about it. But yeah, that's
Do
probably
y'all
too much.
have dressing and stuff?
Oh
stuffing?
yeah. Now, do you do dressing or you do stuffing? Because
We do dressing.
We do
don't
dressing
stuff
too.
the bird with
We
it.
do dressing too, not
Big
stuffing
pan
so much.
of it.
Right, exactly. Dressing is different than stuffing.
Not too much sage.
Let's see. Misfit Chris says he likes to play whatever the latest console game is. I get that. YouTube Punk says I'm gonna get Johnson's help to get me a PS5. Hey, don't need help anymore. You can walk in the stores, thankfully. So, but yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving. You're right, Tim. It's like one of the best holidays ever. And then football on top of that, just nothing but football on. It's like, it's amazing. So, looking forward to Thanksgiving, Tim. It's gonna be a good one. We hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving too. Tim, we'll skip the investment talk. Let's do some sports talk, Tim. How much of the World Series did you watch?
I watched so very little. I'm ashamed. I was so busy. I watched pretty much the extra innings of the Game 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that was worth watching.
It was worth watching.
And so I did catch that. And Oklahoma was playing football about the same time. So I was kind of going back and forth. And then the game was over, and then they went into extra innings, so that's why I ended up watching most of it.
I tell you what, that was a wonderful Game 7. Golly, it was amazing. But, I mean, all those games were good, Tim. It was
Every
close.
game, yeah.
And I tell you what, if I was a Blue Jays fan,
I
Tim,
did see most of the highlights.
I was going to say, do you remember 2011 for us?
I was going to say, we were with one out, of winning a World Series before. We know what it's like.
Absolutely. So, back in 2011, as Texas Rangers fans...
Were you rooting for the Blue Jays, kind of?
I was actually rooting for the Dodgers.
Really?
I know
I didn't really
it sounds
care.
weird. Right,
but...
exactly. The reason I'm rooting for the Dodgers is because, look, I know, guys, they bought all their players, but they have the best players. And to me, the best players should win the World Series.
Yeah, maybe so.
So, I mean, look, dude, come on. Yamamoto was amazing. Oh, my goodness. He pitched 2 complete game, 1-run games. And then on Game 6, he pitched one of those. And then it came in Game 7 and finished this thing out. I mean, just amazing. And then, dude, how many times do I have to say Shohei Ohtani's name?
Right.
He's the best player in baseball we've ever seen. Oh, my goodness.
Right, maybe so.
So, no, I mean, good for the Dodgers. Next year, I do want to see someone else win. I will say that.
Okay.
Hopefully the Rangers. But, I do want to see another team win. And the Blue Jays, credit to them. It was so
what
close
a great
to them. Oh, my
year.
goodness.
Yeah.
They could have easily won it. One of the announcers is like, I know this is corny, but I felt like both teams won. In a way, they did. Because they put up a fight like nobody thought they'd put up a fight against the Dodgers. So, good for the Blue Jays.
So did you watch most of the games?
I did.
Yeah,
at least part of every
good.
game. And good on Blue Jays. Sorry, fans, that you didn't get that World Series, man. But I'm telling you, y'all were good enough to win. It was literally like one play here, 2 inches there. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
just one break for the Blue Jays and they win the whole thing. So
close.
Tim, any Cowboys thoughts? Okay, let's move on.
Well, yeah, we're not. Well, I did.
The Cardinals, obviously, was
Well,
the
no,
last.
I'm really sad about the player that you saw Dallas lost.
Oh, I know.
Week.
So here's the thing. I've been so busy. I just found about that today.
Yeah, after making a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, I guess just, it was a suicide. And so it's just like, man, you go from one high to this low. And I just, thoughts and prayers are with his family. And I thought the Denver Broncos did a really nice tribute at the game. So, you just, that's why I always stress, it's just so important to be kind to everybody.
Yeah.
Because you never know what somebody's battling or what they're going through.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't talk a lot about that, and the Cowboys are just pathetic to watch.
They made a trade?
Yeah, we did make a trade, which I was surprised. They made a decent trade. They got a good player, but that is not going to solve this season.
Yeah.
I was looking forward more to the draft picks.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest. This season is going to be a miracle if we make any kind of 8-8 would be maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Already counting it out. Misfit Chris says, I'm in the right place. We were talking about baseball and video games. You are in the right place, my friend.
Yeah.
You are definitely in the right place. Let's see. Agent Dark Cloud says, great to see you guys streaming. Great to see you here. Thanks for being here. It's awesome. So, no, we like to talk about all sorts of topics. And baseball and video games are just two of them. So, but let's talk about another topic, Tim. How about any NBA talk? We talked a little bit. We're Mavericks fans, so obviously about Cooper Flag.
Yeah, it's kind of new season. Nobody's really impressing me that much, but it's kind of young. Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. The Mavericks, they got their work cut out for them. But I see flashes of greatness, but I just don't know. We'll see.
I think he's going to take at least a year or two to mature. It's going to take a little bit before we see him really come into his own. And me and Tim were talking, he really looks more like a forward than he looks like a point guard.
For sure. But we don't have a point guard. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Misfit Chris says, man, there's a really good A-Rod documentary that just dropped yesterday on HBO. I'm going to have to check this out.
I did not know this.
So obviously A-Rod is kind of a contentious subject for us Texas Ranger fans.
Right.
But I do have some respect for the man, so I probably will watch that.
I bet it's good.
For sure. Let's go ahead and move into documentaries. We'll skip the rest of the sports for now. Let's talk about some documentaries here, Tim. I saw the Simple Plan documentary on Prime Video. Tim, are you a Simple Plan fan?
I do not know what it is. So.
They are a band.
Okay.
Okay, and Welcome to My Life.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I Do Anything.
Yes.
I can't,
I know who you're talking about now.
So they are a Canadian band, and this is basically the story. So you like behind the music?
Yes.
This is the behind the music of Simple Plan. Now, they had a videographer that literally followed them all the way from them playing like in their parents' house to when they got big. And so they literally have clips of them through like decades of being together as a band.
Well,
and so it's worth it if you're even at least a little bit interested in Simple Plan. And they're from Canada, Tim, which I did not even realize. And so it talks a lot about, they're from Montreal. And so you can watch the documentary. It's really good. If you're even halfway a fan of Simple Plan or know some of their music, you should watch it. Let's talk about Gen V, which is the boys kind of prequel or kind of, what's a better way to say it? Like kind of like a series that kind of coincides with the boys. Very good.
You like it? Okay.
Very good. Now, raunchy as all get out, okay? And very graphic. And so this is not, you do not watch this with your kids, okay? But it's good for you to watch by yourself after they've gone to bed. So kind of thing. But the stories are really good, it's compelling, and this season of Gen V leads directly into the next season of The Boys, which will be the last season I've heard. So have you seen The Rainmaker, Tim?
No.
Do you know The Rainmaker?
Well, I know The Rain Man. I don't know The Rainmaker.
There's a movie with Matt Damon. It's based on a John Grisham novel.
Okay, I do know.
This TV show is the same thing.
I see.
And so if you like lawyer kind of movies that have to do with like, he's kind of he's a first year lawyer trying to take down a big law firm who's representing a big insurance company.
I would probably like it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's really good. They just finished up their first season. I hope they get a second. You can watch it on Peacock. If you like lawyer kind of shows and things, The Rainmaker is worth your time. Great book. Great movie and great series.
Okay.
So check it out. The Diplomat. I have one more episode in the latest season, Tim, and it is fantastic. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love The Diplomat. Kerry Russell. Amazing. So Anything else? Have you seen The Diplomat?
I've seen the first one. I haven't watched this. That's the second season, third season, right? So I'm behind.
You need to watch because it's getting really good.
Okay.
So, in fact, it ties the end of this one ties almost directly in with current events.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so very interesting. And Misfit Chris said, good band. Simple Plan is a good band.
Mm-hmm.
Very good plan. Anyway. And then Nobody Wants This. I have not started yet, Tim, but we're getting there. Tim, tell us what you've been watching without me.
Without you, I have been watching The House of David.
Right.
Which I thought it's basically the story of David.
From the Bible.
And talks about David and Goliath. And a lot of that's computer generated, but it is really, really good.
I wonder what kind of budget they had for this.
I do not know. And the network that did it,
is it not Amazon? Is it not just Amazon?
No, it's because the second season you got to subscribe. They got me now,
gotcha.
And I'm going to be paying $7.99 a month probably to watch the rest of it.
Wait till it ends and then just pay
the highlight. Yeah, but the highlight is David versus Goliath, and that is one of the best scenes I've seen in any kind of movie, and it is not cheesy. It's very good. Something. It was just a really good to that. So I've been watching that. My wife has been watching, is it 6 Feet Under?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then it got off of Netflix, so it looks like we're going to be getting an HBO. It is an
HBO show, I think.
Yes, it is. So she's watched 2 seasons, and I'm like, you realize there's like 7 on HBO, and she's like, oh, well, so I guess we'll be getting HBO again.
Yep.
You know how that works out. Other than that, just mostly news and sports. I haven't had much time.
Misfit Chris also says Stranger Things, the last and final season drops.
It's coming up. That's right. So looking forward.
I still have not seen a moment of Stranger Things. I'm waiting till it's complete.
Oh, no way.
Waiting till it's complete. I'm going to binge it all. So, but, okay. Let's talk about Chad Powers first.
Okay.
We'll save the perfect neighbor for the end.
Chad. My name's Chad.
That's like my puppet voice, right?
Yeah.
Like my puppet voice.
My name's Chad.
So, but yeah. So Chad Powers is, what's the guy's name? Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
Glenn Powell, who was from Top Gun Maverick, a couple other movies, right?
Yeah.
Twisters, right? Mm-hmm. Twisters. And he plays this character who's basically screwed up in college and lost the big game. I don't want to spoil it too much.
Right.
Screwed up in college, lost the big game, and everybody dislikes him. So he decides to be a walk-on at this college, and his dad's a Hollywood makeup artist, so he puts on his dad's Hollywood makeup as a disguise and becomes, hey, I'm Chad.
Yeah,
like that. And
funny.
Yeah, exactly, and becomes Chad Powers, who is an unknown guy who's very, very Southern, I guess you could say.
I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of started watching it, and man, it really gets you.
It does
really
get you.
good.
It's
kind of got a different, it's I mean, it's not going to end well.
Right.
Because, it's all a lie and stuff, but I liked it. I'm looking forward to the second season.
Well, we don't know if it's going to get a second season.
I hope it does.
And what did you think about the cliffhanger? Terrible, right?
Yeah, that was hard to watch at the end. The end of the first season was tough, but kind of expected too.
Yes.
Because it was what it was. So.
Mm-hmm. But it's good, and you should watch it, even though the cliffhanger at the end is terrible. It should have gotten at least 6 more episodes.
It's not. It's so different.
It is,
and it's not bad. It sounds dumb,
right?
And in fact, halfway through, I'm like, "This is dumb,"
right?
And then it gets pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So watch it
for sure. Coming over here, YouTube Punk says Disney Plus is now $160 a month or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't realize it. I guess for $160 a year, I think.
Oh yeah,
that's about right. Let's see. I can't read. As that showed 86 says, apparently John Carpenter will be directing a sequel to The Thing, Tim.
Oh, nice.
Man, golly, that'd be crazy. Hey, money talks, man. You back a money truck to somebody's house, I'll make sequels of anything you want, right?
For sure.
So, I mean, that is the way it goes. Okay, Tim, here we go.
All right, we're going to talk about one more thing, and we wanted to know if you've seen it.
Yes.
And then join in the conversation.
So let me give the primer before you give your thoughts. So The Perfect Neighbor is a movie on Netflix that's been getting a lot of promotion. If you have the ad Netflix, you've probably seen the trailer for it, because I have the ad Netflix and I've seen it a million times. But basically the entire movie is shot via police camera footage.
I'd say 90% of it.
90%, yeah. 90% is all police camera footage.
Footage straight from the police, their chest.
Yeah, from their cameras,
yeah.
Right, exactly. And so the whole movie, and you think, how can you make a movie out of that? Trust me, it works really well. And so basically it is the story of this lady who's been calling the cops on these kids who've been playing in her yard. Okay. And then things escalate from there. I don't want to get too much into it, Tim, but it ends up obviously in a bad way. So can we say that?
it's very thought provoking about what is, and we'll just leave it with this: what is a right to your property and your yard, and versus, is it worth, another life or something, or just kids playing in your yard? I mean, I was thinking about it. I'll tell this story. When I was a kid, we had a yard behind us that was an empty lot.
Sure.
And that was the best football field, baseball field, everything in the world.
It's empty.
But it was right between two houses that didn't have kids, and we were probably noisy and loud and everything. It actually was owned by the guy on that. He had an extra lot, okay? Sure. And, and so he was like, I'm trying to rest, you dumb kid, shut up. He was always yelling at us and stuff.
You kids get off my lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn, get off my grass, you're tearing everything up. And we just thought, man, it was blocks and blocks and blocks to any other field. And so we come up with the idea that he was an elderly man, and we said, look, we all have lawnmowers. We'll keep your yard and this yard mowed if you'll just let us play in it. And he said, well, it sounds like a good deal to him. Yell away. And we had 5 lawnmowers, and we would all take turns. Everybody's mowing different directions. And we would mow his grass, and he would let us play in his yard. So we come to a compromise. Mm-hmm. And but I don't know if y'all have ever had a yard like that. And that's kind of what this movie's about. There's this yard that all the kids wanted to play in, and this lady thought that they were getting too close. I don't know why she thought it was her yard. It wasn't her yard.
Right.
So, there's that line between letting kids be kids and play, and then them being obnoxious or noisy or doing something, vandalizing or something they shouldn't be doing. So maybe y'all have been in that situation. Maybe you were the vandal kid. I don't know. But did y'all have you had a pretty big yard growing up, right? So y'all had plenty of room to play and stuff.
We never had a problem. Our neighbors were we had 1 acre lots in the area where I grew up, so like everybody was pretty spread out. Here it's a little bit more tight, like with my house and everything like that. But we never had problems with neighbors. We don't have any empty lots here, really, for the most part. It's established neighborhood's been here a long time. But really, Tim, what I want to talk about is the way she reacted.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, basically the story is this woman, these kids, and the woman. Well, she got a little. I mean, they both kind of got, I say violent with each other. Violent's not the right word. They threw stuff at each other. There were accusations about somebody coming over to somebody else. And so what ends up happening is one of the moms goes over to the house to talk to the mom because she threw, skates? She threw skates at like one of the kids.
And they couldn't find one of them's tablet.
Right, and they couldn't find a tablet.
She took it.
Right, so they went over there so the mom goes over there to talk to the lady about it, knocks on the door. And apparently the lady felt like she was being threatened and ended up shooting through the door.
Right.
And killing the mom.
Right.
Okay, so that's the spoiler. We won't tell you what happens to the lady who shot, but we will tell you that. And so, so Tim, really though, this is my takeaway from it. What do I have to do to not be a crotchety old person when I'm old?
Right.
So
now I don't want to be that guy.
Right, exactly. It's like, they're just kids. Like, I understand they're loud.
And it'd be different if it actually was her yard.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't her yard.
No, it wasn't.
And so, yeah, I will say this much. There was a point in the film where I cried.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard when the dad tells the kids.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that was, oh my goodness.
And this is real footage. This is real life, So to think that these kids, who just were normal kids, and they were
just playing.
Honestly, they seemed like pretty good kids to be kids.
Absolutely,
And I didn't see, and I don't think if she would have been nicer, I don't think they would have been so disrespectful if they ever were.
Well, the problem is that she was calling the cops on them
all the time.
And
the cops would just come out there and be tell them, get off, don't bother her, leave her alone.
Right. I mean, they
got tired of coming out.
Right. Instead of her going over and saying, hey, I know your kids want to play over here. Could they not play over here between the hours of such and such and such and such when I'm trying to work? That's all she had to do, right? Something like that. It's like, look, I'll let them play over there the rest of the time, but I work from
she worked from home.
Right, exactly. So she works from home. So I work for 5 hours out of the day or whatever on home stuff. As long as they can be quiet during that time, they can have the rest of the time to play.
It just seemed to me it was so unnecessary.
For sure.
Unnecessary. And the things that I let grate me, I'm trying to, let go. Just like you said, I don't want to be that old person that get off my grass and don't do this or don't do that.
But Tim, this is what
Had
happens.
an opportunity to be a much better person.
Right. So this is what happens when we don't practice forgiveness.
Right.
And that's what I want people to realize. It's like there's two options in life. You can be unforgiving or forgiving.
Right.
Right. And so it's like if you're unforgiving, you end up in situations like this lady where it's just like everything just annoys you, like nothing is ever perfect. And anybody wrongs you, you end up going after them hard or whatever the case may be. That's one way to take life, okay? And I tell you what, though, I think
it's a miserable way.
I think you end up pretty miserable for the most part. Forgiveness seems like a better option to me. And it's like, look, if kids come over, you bother me or whatever, but it's okay. It's no big deal. Just, can we work out a deal? Can we do something to maybe, I want you guys to be able to play. I want to be able to get my work done. Maybe we can work out an arrangement. You know what I'm saying? It's like, try forgiveness over just being so unforgiving about everything, And I felt like this is where she was, and this lady seemed miserable because of it. So
we kind of had a funny thing when the trick-or-treaters were coming by, because don't you like thankful, grateful trick-or-treaters?
Yes.
Right? Trick-or-treat, thank you, have a good day, happy Halloween.
Well, you know what I do? I'm like, what do you say?
Yeah. And so,
thank you.
But it's hard when that kid doesn't say anything or doesn't say thank you or whatever. One kid came up, and he was, I'll just put it this way, he's a little bigger kid. He had been walking quite a bit, and he was sweating pretty good. He said, I don't want any candy. Can I have a bottle of water?
Oh, my goodness.
And I thought about it for a second. I'm like, what kid asked for a bottle of water? And I said, a thirsty one.
Absolutely.
Somebody that's really thirsty. And guess what? I have a bottle of water.
Exactly.
Hang on, kid. Let me go get you some. So just for a split second, I thought, what kind of crazy kid comes to my house asking for a bottle of water? But then I thought, one who's really thirsty and needs some water.
Absolutely.
So, I could have been a jerk about it. No, you're getting candy. Or I just could give him the water that I had plenty of.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I never miss. So it's just a small example, but I was just kind of, if you haven't seen this documentary, it definitely, I would watch it with my wife or kids or significant others or family.
I know about kids. It's pretty rough for the kids.
Well, I think that it's
older kids.
Yeah, older kids. It would definitely be something though that you should discuss. How far is too far? What is the right thing? I'm the person that if you're coming in my door, now if you're beating on my door, it's one thing. I'm going to tell you get lost.
Yeah.
The second you enter that door, you're going to be met with something you don't want.
Right.
Okay? But I would not shoot through the door
and
shoot somebody either just because I could.
When we do martial arts training,
yeah.
We do trainings where it's like, okay, like you've got your back to a threat. And they say turn around. And so there'll be signs that say either threat or non-threat. Mm-hmm. And so it's up to us to identify that.
Very hard to make that quick decision.
Right, but you've got to train yourself to make the quick decision. Like you said, if somebody's at your door but not in your house, you're still safe.
You're pretty safe.
Okay, and so what happened here is that she shot through the door.
Right.
Even though she was pretty safe.
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe didn't mean to necessarily kill somebody.
Maybe just scare somebody.
I have a feeling, I wouldn't think that going through a door, you would actually, it was a pretty thick door, that the bullet going through there could actually enter into somebody and kill them, but it was the right shot that it just happened to do that.
Oh man, bullets shoot through doors all the time.
Yeah, but it's just pretty rare that you would actually hit them in the exact spot that would kill them, and they didn't give them enough time.
Yeah, because you have no sight, basically.
No.
There's no way to see what you're shooting at.
But fire a warning shot or something, yes. I don't know. And I guess she just seemed like she just kept getting more aggravated, and the cops couldn't do anything because there was nothing they could do.
All she had to do, like I said, if she just would have practiced a little bit of forgiveness and been like, I was a kid once, I played once, I did that kind of stuff once, and I can let a little bit of it go. Yeah, that's all she had to do, but she couldn't let any of it go. She held it against them.
Even if they're being totally mischievous,
right?
It's just not worth. Some things just aren't worth it. But
absolutely,
if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a watch, though.
For sure,
it definitely is.
Joe says a 6-volt lantern battery and a car horn from the junkyard tossed onto a neighbor's roof straightens them out pretty quick, too.
Yeah, there you go.
And YouTube Punk says he saw the trailer. Let's see. Is that is it Josu Carreno? I hope I'm
Okay.
saying that right. Says, great stream. I have to leave. Can't wait for the next one. Thanks for being here. Misfit Chris says, I study Kung Fu Sansu in California. So there you go. So self-defense is something everybody should need
For sure.
to have,
And it should be defense.
Defense.
Not
attack.
offense. Yeah,
Right,
not
exactly.
attack just because, or somebody, we were talking about this earlier, just because somebody doesn't agree with you. We have lost the ability to have a conversation or to be forgiving when somebody's not very nice. We
Exactly.
feel like then once they're not nice, we can be twice as unnice. And so, it's a good thing to keep your emotions and have self-control no matter what.
And, something I always try to do, Tim, like, was the last episode we talked about the response we got. Like, the comment that we got that was kind of ugly.
Uh-huh.
And I could have responded to that with a lot of ugliness. But I like to think that second time. And I would encourage you to do so, too, before you respond to people. Like, give it a second thought. Don't do that initial thought. Because sometimes that initial thought comes off too harsh or may come off, you almost get, like you said, retaliatory, which is really what you don't want to be. Think that second time, and maybe you'll achieve a little bit more clarity, would be my thought. And again, live in a state of forgiveness constantly. I mean, I kind of feel like that's the best way to do it, because when you hold everything against everybody, this is what she did. She held everything those kids did basically against them, called the cops every time they did something she didn't like, and she ended up here.
Right.
This is where she ended up.
It boiled over at some point. And another thing is to learn to forgive yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Even when you kind of lose your cool, it's okay to ask for forgiveness too.
Yeah.
And
if she would have gone over there after, like, throwing like the skate or something like that.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I baked everybody some cookies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry I threw the skate. Here, you guys come clean in the yard, or here's some, like you said, cookies or something like this.
Put your headphones on, do your work,
Right.
and let the kids play.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think you could have worked out a deal where it was like, hey, kids, y'all can play in the yard from like anytime after like noon, but from 8 to noon, I really need to work. Or whatever it is. And
But
give them a little window.
This goes for everything. This goes for little kids, older kids. This goes for our government.
Yeah.
We can't get our way, can't get along. We're just going to fight. And the fallout and the innocent people that are getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
So that's all we'll say about that. But, I know we're getting ready to wrap things up, but just our message to everybody is let's all just show a little more kindness as much you can, even on yourself. Yeah. Like I said, I used to get really angry sometimes when I couldn't fix something, or I was mad, and or I'd spent some money and stuff, and it really today, I can't even remember what it was about.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Well, I will say this: like forgiveness for yourself. This is how I accomplished that. It's taken me a long time to do this, but if somebody did what you did, what would you tell them?
Right.
So, like, let's say you screw up. You get into a wreck, you're not paying attention, you rear end a car. And in your mind, you're like, dang, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. But if it was your friend that did that, what would you tell your friend?
It happens.
It's okay.
It's an accident. You didn't mean to, yeah.
Exactly. You weren't looking, you weren't paying attention, but it's okay. Things happen, right?
Yeah, we can fix a car. We can't fix you.
Exactly.
Or, all the time.
So sometimes it's better to take it from that point of view, because that's kind of like telling yourself, give the same leeway to yourself that you give to other people, if you do. And so, that's very important. But I think forgiveness is the biggest thing, guys. You don't have to hold everything against everybody. If you do, you will be miserable. Like Tim mentioned, there's no way to do it. So practice a little forgiveness and say, you know what? Hey, no harm, no foul. I had a guy back into me one time in Brahms parking lot. Okay, I was sitting there turning. I was like in the thing to exit, and literally, as an older gentleman, just backed into my my car. Like he hit the reverse, backed into the side of it, right where the gas tank was.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped. I put my car in park. We're in a parking lot. He put his car in park, and he's like, man, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't even see you there. And I looked at my car. I didn't have any damage. And, I said, you know what? I'm going to let this one go. I just want you to know that it's okay. And I told him it's okay. No harm, no foul. You go on to your merry way.
Out and
right. Now, I could exactly. I could have really got after
your insurance company.
Right. I was like, how could you do that? I could have done that, right? Like, I could have practiced a lot. But I'm like, today, man, it's okay. We're going to let that go. I don't see any damage. I think we're okay. So, you just take care. We shook hands, and that was it. But you see, how we respond makes a whole lot of difference. That could have been a much different situation depending on how I responded. So, again, forgiveness, practice it. It's important. So,
anything else before we go?
Yeah, we do. YouTube Punk says, Misfit Chris says, man, I miss the 90s. The world was much more chill. I agree. YouTube Punk says, I see homemade video from mid-90s in high school. It's wild before social media and made everything worse. In a way, yeah.
It really did.
Misfit Chris, still have some small issues with my Street Fighter 2 arcade. Intermittently, screen will be a little shaky, only at the top. It does not do it all the time. Grounding issues a lot of times with that. So you may just make sure that
check your voltage. Make sure all your Street Fighter 2. Make sure all your chips are seated good.
Yeah, that's very common on those. And then again, make sure your monitor frame is grounded really good because that's important. And then make sure you have grounds on your power supply as well. Everything's coming in. If you do not have a ground plug on your plug, get a plug with a ground plug. Right, Tim?
Agree.
That's important. Joe says, great show as always. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Yes, go out. Have some fun. Do something fun. Misfit Chris, one more time. Not sure if it's a cabinet or the Street Fighter game itself. When it's in demo, it never demonstrates any of the shaking. So it could be a board
like
issue.
A chip then.
Yeah, so you may want to press down on some of those socketed chips and see if it makes any difference.
That's a good indicator.
For sure. So he says it'll start sometimes and he won't see it for like a month. Yeah.
Wow.
Another thing is like the edge connector. Make sure it's really on there well, because like if it's not making a good connection to the board, we've seen weird stuff like that happen too. So especially on the ground pins, like we talked about. Well, guys, that's it for us.
It's late for us.
We're out. Thanks for being here for a Friday episode of the live show, and we will see you in December for, like we said, our Christmas show. Oh my gosh, Tim, Christmas show.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
You guys have a good one. We'll see you guys soon, and look forward to talking to you later. Thanks for moving a day for me, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Have a good one.